today? Well, this is a very special day. As I said yesterday, there was something sweet. I had a treat for 'em. Well, they didn't know that well, who the treat was. Did you see my late night text, Doctor? A message to you. Well, you can check it out, and we'll see if we're going to do that today. Um, I speak blessings to each one of you. Remind you that the favor of God is ready to overwhelm you because He said, when you hearken unto the voice, my voice, when you listen to the things that I'm saying, the things that I'm even speaking to you through my prophets, those who are going to be the mouthpiece of God, prophet. You may not, I'm not talking about those who walk and wear the mantle of a prophet. That's not what's necessary for you to prophesy. What's necessary is the Spirit of God that He's pouring out on all flesh. That's your sons and the daughters. And He said that the children would prophesy. In the last days, I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Then there's going to be dreams and visions. Now, to prophesy doesn't make you a prophet. It means that you're speaking prophetically because this is what the Spirit of the Lord has done. So, as you prophesy, and those who have prophesied to you, those who are speaking the truth, this word of truth to you, when you take it, the Lord said, blessings will overwhelm you. They'll come upon you. They'll come upon you physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And now we're going to see the manifestation of His will. What is His will? According to 3 John 2, His will is that we prosper and that we be in good health, even as our soul prospers. And we've looked at that. So one of the things that a conversation that I want to begin today, and I'll just get it started, that I'm gonna call in the big guns, so to speak, is divine health. Divine health. This is something that we've claimed and we want to walk in. Or divine health isn't just recovery. It's not just about recovery. It's more about remaining whole. It's living in such deep alignment or an agreement with God's design that disease, affliction, and imbalance lose their access. While healing restores what was lost, divine health sustains what God intended for us. And we have 3 John 1, verse 2. And we have Proverbs 18, 14. The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear. If you diligently heed the voice of your God, your Lord God, He says, I will put none of these diseases on you which I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. That's Ephesians, not Ephesians, that's Exodus 15, verse 26. Real quick, here's some things that you can do. I'm going to be finished talking in about 90 seconds. There's 3 major things that you can do to walk in divine health. Number 1, guard your gates. Guard the gates of your soul. That whatever enters your mind affects your body. Whatever enters your mind affects your body. So that means that you're going to have to stop or watch what you consume. I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about media and music and conversations. They carry frequencies that affect your soul and will distract you and derail you. So music that's not kingdom building, music that speaks things that's negative, speaks negatively of women, females, of even men, of vulgarities. So we've got to watch what we consume, and it's not okay even for our children to listen to it. They have on the headphones, but know what they're listening to. So we got to monitor that. The other thing to guard the gates of your soul is bitterness, unforgiveness, and fear are gateways to disease. How does that affect us? Well, we have a doctor who can talk to us sometime about how bitterness, unforgiveness, and fear affect our bodies, and it opens us up for disease or dis-ease. We've got to make the declarations of peace, gratitude, and truth daily. We've got to do that every day. Proverbs 17:22, a merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. Fast from toxic influences. We're fasting from sugar, processed sugar or refined sugar, but the influences spiritually and emotionally. Choose life at the thought level. Choose life. There's some speeches, I can just tell you candidly, there's some speeches from politicians I can't listen to. I don't want to deal with this one today. I don't know what foolishness is going to come out of his mouth. And it's his position that sits in the most powerful seat in the land, not just the United States, but in the world. And some things I don't want to deal with this today. I'm gonna handle some other stuff. Um, we got to honor our bodies. So the first thing is we got to guard our gates, guard the gates to your soul. Then we got to honor our bodies. You can't ask God to preserve what you actively mistreat. You got to hydrate, rest, and move, and nourish with what God made. Eat more plants. He made it all. I get it. Eat more plants. I'm not talking about your rose bushes. I'm talking about plant-based food. Avoid extremes, gluttony, starvation, sleep deprivation, or addictive cycles. Avoid that. I'm talking about walking in divine health. The Holy Spirit doesn't just dwell in your spirit, he fills your body. So start one thing, walking, drinking water, more water, rest, get your rest, not just sleep, but do it as unto the Lord. And here's the final thing that I have to say. Stay in divine alignment through word and worship. And we start our mornings this way with word and worship, spending time in the presence of God, purposeful time, intentional time. So what's submitted to God comes under divine covering. So when we submit everything to him, then we know everything is covered. Stay under the word like you stay under the umbrella in the rain. Surround yourself, inundate yourself with word. Worship keeps the atmosphere of your body aligned with heaven. And that's not just the music that we listen to, but that's a great place to start because it can set the tone or prime the pump, as some would say. Get it started. I can hear this sound that activates something in me until I grow to the place where I can activate before I hear a sound. Prayer isn't just a petition. Yeah, it's not just a petition, it's preservation. So he sent his word to heal them and he delivered them from all their destruction or diseases. Speaking healing scriptures out loud, worship while you walk, pray before you eat, saturate your routine. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to say is when when your spirit leads, your soul agrees and your body obeys. Walk in heaven's rhythm. Walk this way. Um, yeah, today, uh, if you give me some sign, Doctor, I want to hear some of your questions or see some of the questions that you might have concerning your body, concerning your health, even your diet. Um, I'm calling on this the most experienced medical doctor that I know of that we have here. It's the only one we have on stage or with the microphone, and that would be Dr. Vera. Over 30 years, 40 years of practicing medicine in that field, from hospital commander, army, commanding troops, surgeon, delivering babies. So, women, if you have a question, is this free medical advice? Well, just answering some questions. It's as, it's a matter of it's no different than you asking me a biblical question or something to do with your spirit, and I can have an answer for you. And asking a question of something that has to do with your toe or with your heart or with some of the meds. We're not going to be too technical, but just something that you might have a question, maybe concerning your diet or the effects this is having on your body, or why do you have kidney stones or high blood pressure? How can that be controlled without medication? Diabetes, the same thing. How can that be controlled without medication? Are these things that are scriptural? Absolutely. And everything falls under what those three areas that I just mentioned about walking in divine health. And if you missed it, that's okay. That's okay. You got a replay. You can go back and listen to it again. All right. Dr. V, are you available to pick up where I'm leaving off?
Okay, we'll pick up. It's been 44 years. Can you imagine that I started out in medicine in 1981? I'm dating years. Myself, but I'm only 25. You didn't know that, right? But sometimes we have to start that way. But I'm going to start with the scripture. I'd like to start with Psalms 32 and 8. It says, I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the path of your life. I'll advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as a guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn. Don't take you where you've not been before. Don't make me tug you or pull you along. Just come with me. And when I read that scripture in Psalms 32, it reminds me that we have to move ourselves in a direction of life, not death. You know, I hear people, especially African Americans, talking about, well, this is what my daddy ate, this is what my mama ate, this is what I live with, so this is what I'm going to eat. But then your dad died at 55 of a massive heart attack. Your mom had a stroke. Your sister was on kidney dialysis. Your doctor's telling you your cholesterol's off the chain, and you don't really know where to put it in perspective. But God says He lays a path for us. And the path is that we have to seek wisdom, look for guidance, and remember that there are things that we can all do to change our circumstance. Wouldn't you like a do-over? In your health, you can have a do-over if you decide you're going to do the things that are going to bring you wellness. You know, a do-over means that I get another chance to get it right. And that's what grace and mercy stands in. So when we talk about being healthy and being well, and then when I talk to somebody and say, how much water did you drink today? Oh, I had some, I have my cup. I get my cup. A cup? Really? Did you know that your water intake should be almost half of your weight? A little modified, but every human being should at least have 64 ounces a day. And in this kind of heat, you need to add a little extra. Oh, I don't want to drink that much water. I'll have to go to the bathroom. But do you know that going to the bathroom is the way you keep your kidneys well? You keep your circulation going. You keep yourself from stroking. You keep your blood from clotting. What are you trying to do if you're trying to do it your way? God designed this body with life in mind. Garbage in, garbage out. Living things in, prosperity out. We have to decide that we're going to eat the good of the land. And that means we might have to eat something green. Oh my goodness. And if you don't like spinach, which is one of the healthiest foods in the world, it's easy to grow in your pot garden in your backyard. If you don't like it, put it in a casserole. Find a way to fix it where you like it. Put it in a burrito with some beef or other things. But don't die on the vine. That's what I call it, dying on the vine. How many times have you had a plant that you let it grow and the fruit starts growing and then it dies on the vine? When you're not taking care of the vine, the fruit will die and the fruit won't be sweet. It won't be good for your life and for your living. You know, I tell people, I speak to my plants. I read scriptures to them. I want them to grow. I want them to be strong. I want them to know, because we are the whole place in which the Holy Spirit lies. You wouldn't invite somebody to come into an unclean house, would you? Yet you invite the Holy Spirit to live in a place where you don't even take care of it. Come on now. What am I saying? I'm not trying to condemn you. I want you to think about what you're trying to do. And you know, we all like sweets. But instead of that piece of cake, how about a piece of watermelon or a piece of cantaloupe or a kiwi or some fresh pineapple? If it came out of the ground and it gave life, why don't you give it back to your body so you can have life? One of the things about kids, I had my grandchildren here not too long ago. We went out to eat. And the things that they put on the plate for the kids to eat on the kids' menu is pretty horrible. And my grandchildren looked at it and said, I don't want any of this. I said, okay, let me order a plate and we make you a kid's plate. So I ordered a plate of some things. I divided it up among them and I gave them whole foods, vegetables and squash and a little bit of meat and quality food. No hot dogs, no processed food. And I told them, and at the end, we got a dessert that had fruit on it, not candies. So decide what you want. I don't know what Dr. Jerome wanted me to talk about today. I thought I was going to talk about guidance, but this is a way of guiding. This is a way of instructing. This is a way of making a platform. I believe we eat from the Garden of Eden, and then we add the things that we have later been instructed to do. We have to begin eating the things that are whole and healthy. Go ahead. Is somebody speaking?
Does somebody have a question?
Maybe somebody just opened their mic. I'm sorry. Is that enough, Dr. Jerome? Is there something specific you wanted me to speak on?
Oh, no, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Did anybody have a question for Dr. V or for me?
I can compare you a menu from the first 4 books of the Bible.
Here's a question.
I have a question.
I was told my blood type is B positive, and I love broccoli. And I was told that I can't eat as much broccoli as I have been eating.
You know, blood type is very important. You're talking about blood type. That's very important. Your blood type is determined from where your genetics come from. Now, in medicine, I used to tell people, eat all the same things. You know, eat this, don't eat this, don't eat that. But as I've grown in wisdom, God has shown me that there is a difference between our blood types and what we eat. Just like Jacob and his brother came from the same womb, but they ate different foods and did different things. But they were both strong. And our blood type determines how our food processes it. It decides what enzymes our body produces. So there is some value to blood type diet. I'm a type O. Type O is a universal donor, but there's so many things that type O can't eat. And dairy is the one thing that we feed all our children. All of us eat dairy. And I found out dairy is very disease producing in typos. So there is some value in that. Now you can eat some broccoli, but choose another vegetable that's healthy for your body. You want to put in things that will build your body. For those who don't know, there's an app called the Blood Type. Eat Right 4, the number 4, your blood type. That'll tell you what you can and cannot use. And it's really easy. And it'll even prepare your shopping list. So when you go to the store, try it. If you think it's not going to work, just try it for a day. Try it for 4 months. Say for a month, I'm going to eat everything for my blood type. And then see if you feel better, if you walk better, if your hair is clear, if you can feel better. But remember, God created us all. We all originated from the Garden of Eden. And sometimes you just have to basically start from the beginning and figure out what works for you. If you get a headache every time you eat a pork rib or go and have barbecue or your blood pressure's up the next day, hello, don't eat it. It's not really that hard. So, Vanessa, there is something to be said for blood type. And it does matter where your blood type is. And if Dr. Jerome gives me another time, I'll come in here and talk about the different blood types and how it affects us and where it tells our genetics. But I hope that answered your question.
Okay, anybody on YouTube? Do you have a question? Just type it out and I'll read it. And we have someone else on YouTube who can help me to read so I don't miss anything. Now, this is good, Doc. And anybody in the audience, if you have a question, just raise your hand and then we'll bring you up, give you a mic so you can ask your question. This is your moment. Go ahead.
A while back, everybody was breastfeeding. And we were told, I called the doctor one time and I said, my baby doesn't have as many bowel movements because I help with my siblings, and so I knew the difference. I mean, the bowel movements that a newborn baby has, but with mine it was a little different. And the doctor said that's because your child can use every part of your milk, but they cannot use every part of a cow's milk. Can you explain that or give me some detail on that?
Okay, I can help you with that one. God made our bodies to do certain things. As women, we produce milk that is made for our infant. A cow makes milk for a calf. A goat makes milk for a goat. Believe it or not, there's a big difference between goat's milk, cow's milk, even plant-based milk. And people will say, well, plant-based is better, so I'm only going to feed my baby plant-based milk. And they give them an artificial formula that's plant-based. Well, many babies won't grow. Their hair won't grow. Their limbs don't grow. They don't get the right mix of vitamins. God made a woman's body to produce for its child. Now, I will tell you, I spent my first 10 years in medicine doing OBGYN, delivering babies. And I have seen babies delivered from people who don't nutritionally take care of themselves. And I've taken care of babies who are starving in the Middle East. And I see the difference between when the mother has a healthy diet and when the baby reflects a healthy diet. Now, I'm not a big cow's milk person, especially in the first 8 weeks. I encourage our mothers to breastfeed if they can. Not everybody can. Some people can't because they physically can't do it or otherwise. But you have to find a formula that works for the baby. I have some mothers use cow's milk mixed with goat's milk, or we use a non-milk formula, a soy-based formula. Many African Americans, about 30% of African Americans' children need Similac. They need Isomil, a soy-based milk, and not a cow-based milk. So you have to work with your pediatrician to find what's going on. And I tell you what the best test is exactly what you said, Anita. When the baby's digestion works, when their bowels are good, when they're not fussy, when they're not crampy, when they're not gassy, then you're feeding them the right foods. And don't rush the baby. I've seen so many people take a baby that's 2 weeks old and give them sweet potatoes. Come on now. Who said sweet potatoes was supposed to be introduced in their diet in 2 weeks? It isn't. Learn what functions as the baby's body matures. As an infant is first born, half of his body is his liver. So you have to feed foods in which the liver can digest and can help to make the body be strong. Have you ever seen a small infant, a new infant? Half his body is his big belly. And God designed that so that when we feed our babies, the liver will do most of the detoxifying and will help their metabolism work. As the baby gets taller and stronger, they're 2 and 3 years old, you notice their stomach comes down and they become more lean. They start developing muscle. But the most important time for a baby is the first 8 weeks, when the brain and the body is turning on all its systems. And so you need to be careful to choose food that is designed for those babies. And our genetics, our blood type, it makes a difference. I was very adamant with the children that I took care of in my practice, making sure they're growing, making sure fat is developed the right way, making sure that they're doing the right things. I have a friend who's a dentist, and his little daughter is now almost 2 years old, and she's not walking. And when I went to see him, I said, "Oh, come here, baby." And she could stand, but she can't make any efforts to walk. And I noticed that her hips were a little misformed, and it kind of made me nervous. And I said, "How much are y'all putting her on the ground?" And I put her on the ground on a blanket, and she couldn't even crawl. And I said, "Do you know that's a little concerning?" And then her mother goes, "Well, we carry her all the time. We don't let her on the floor. The floor is dirty. We don't let her on the floor." I said, "You need to make a room that you let the baby on the floor. And maybe you take your shoes off and you put her in there and get on the floor with her and help her develop on her knees and forearms. Because if you don't develop that strength, the baby will never walk." And they looked at me like I was green. So I went in the playroom with her, and we sat and rocked back and forth, and we did our little things, and we played and rolled over. And by the end, she was even rolling over. Her mom said, "I've never seen her roll over." I said, "That's because you're carrying her all the time." Babies need to be on the ground. They need to develop as God intended them to develop. And it's not in your arms. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And I hope that there's a way that we can encourage more young mothers. Of course, I'm not breastfeeding anymore, but no intention of it. I just wanted to I knew that you could elaborate. And so if there's any young mothers or any of us who have granddaughters or daughters who are breastfeeding, that they can get back into it if they've just stopped for the sake of just being up with the times. Okay, I'll rest my mic. But thank you so much. That was well said.
Thank you for the question. Is there anybody else? April, I saw you come up.
Can you give me an example of a kidney diet?
A kidney diet.
Yeah,
okay.
My numbers were low, and so from the chemo, and I wasn't the most hydrated person.
Yes.
Yeah, so even now and I had the gastric sleeve, so it's not easy for me to just chug water.
Okay.
Yeah, so they told me that it was important that I incorporate a kidney diet along with my water to try to get my numbers back in a good range.
Okay. Well, let me explain something to you about your kidneys. Your kidneys are your regulators of your body. It's so very important. People underestimate the power of a kidney. God was smart. He knew we'd mess it up, so he gave us 2. Hello? So you have 2 kidneys, 2 ways in which your body can regulate yourself. Your kidneys are extremely important because your kidneys not only set your blood pressure when you go from laying to sitting to standing, your kidneys also act as a second filter. The liver filters and then the kidneys filter. But if the kidneys are not being treated well, which means the volume that you have in your bloodstream is not adequate, your kidneys will not function well. Now, I'm going to shock some of y'all by saying this, so hold on to your hats. Believe it or not, water and a little bit of pickle juice throughout the day will help your kidneys flow better. Uh-oh, she said something crazy. No, I didn't. If you don't put the right types of electrolytes in your body and the right mineral balance in your body, your kidneys won't function. And I'm telling you this as a prophet, trying to tell you, speak life into your kidneys. When you get up in the morning and your kidneys aren't functioning right, speak life into it. Tell them, kidneys, get in order. And today I'm going to decide what I'm going to do to make sure the two of you are happy in my body, because living without a kidney is not good. Now, having gone through chemo is hard on the kidneys because that's the only way the chemo gets out of your body. So as you take this poison, technical poison, through your body, it also sends out through your kidneys. But what does America do to make us kill our kidneys faster? Anybody have any idea on the stage? What's the one thing they started in 1941 that is the biggest destroyer of kidneys? Does anybody know?
Would it be sodas?
Yeah.
Yep, soda.
Yes. Soda, Coca-Cola was made to kill our kidneys. And then when we weren't smart enough to understand that high fructose, high caffeinated, super sweet drink was with carbonation in it was not helping us, then we decided to go ahead and make Diet Coke. We decided to make something and put a poison aspartame here. Aspartame is very damaging to the kidney. So people who are diabetic will say, oh, I have to use this other pack. Remember we had the yellow pack and the pink pack and now the blue pack? Leave all the packs behind. If you want to have your kidneys, take care of them. That means you use your Splenda if you're going to. If you got to use something artificial, but I encourage you to stay away from the sugar and just use good fruits. Sweeten your things with fruit sugars, because fructose, the sugar of fruit, is not as toxic to your body as glucose is. So how about that? And we've had fruit since the beginning of time. So why don't we know that? Because we haven't been taught that. And our manufacturers and the people who are trying to make money just want to get you hooked on something in which you continue to do. But I digress. Let me go back to kidneys. You get two of them. You have to make sure that blood flows through the kidney. Blood will only flow through your kidney if you're hydrated. So if your mouth is dry all the time, if your mouth is always sticking together, that means you're way behind. By the time you get to the point of thirst, you're already about a quart behind in water for the day. Now, I understand if you had a gastric sleeve, you can't go and drink a whole lot of water. And what I tell people like that to do is take yourself a bottle with a straw. Sip on it throughout your day. I don't need you to drink a whole bunch of water. I just need you to drink a little all day. It's kind of like putting gasoline in your engine. You need to pour a little bit in the engine every day in the carburetor so that the engine will function. That's what you do when you put water in your body. And if it's a hot, sweaty day, if you've been out cutting the grass, a little bit of pickle juice has the cucumbers, it has potassium, it has enough phosphate, and it has zinc and selenium, and 2 teaspoons of pickle juice will get you through your day. How about that? But your kidneys are a terrible thing to waste. And if you look around in your neighborhood, there's a dialysis unit on almost everybody's corner. It is the fastest growing medical entity in place today. The greatest amount of disability, especially of African Americans and minorities, to this day. And we still haven't figured out, put that Pepsi down, put that Coca-Cola down. It's killing you. I hope I answered your question, April?
Yes, thank you.
So if you back channel me, I will give you a good reference for a renal safe diet. That means things that you can decrease to make sure your kidneys are well. The other thing that makes kidney disease more prominent is because of uric acid. That's what causes gouty attacks, and that's an unfriendly food for the kidney, and that's turkey. That's beans, certain types of lentils and beans. So you have to be careful what you're eating, depending on your genetic predisposition. And your doctor post-chemo should help you. The other issue is gastric bypass. Gastric bypass is a big deal. About midway in my practice, a friend of mine was a plastic surgeon. He was making tons of money doing gastric bypass, doing 10 and 20 a day in his practice. And he needed a doctor to follow up his patients because he didn't want to manage their medical needs afterwards. So I spent 10 years taking care of his post-gastric patients. And gastric bypass patients need a special diet because depending on how your GI tract was rerouted, you're not getting the vitamins. You need to take some of the vitamins in liquid form and not in pill form, or get them in your food, because if you're not eating right, you can't absorb it and it'll make you be deficient, just as if you were standing in the middle of Israel and Africa. So you need to know what your body needs, and your physician needs to be aware of it and be educated on what they need to do for you. And I can't speak it enough. People will go to a doctor because that's who their insurance sends them to. You find a doctor who's going to take care of you, the health and wellness of your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you're not doing that, you're cheating yourself. You're putting yourself in the hands of somebody who may not understand your biology, your genealogy, or your spirituality. And that is the wrong person to care for you. I hope I answered your question, but you can get in touch with me, April, and I will help you work through that. Health is value. Health is wealth. No rich man cares about being rich when he can't walk, he can't sustain himself, he can't think, and he can't function. So health is wealth. And if you don't believe that, lose it. You know, there was a movie the other day that I saw on Netflix. It's called Finding Tony. Anybody that needs to watch a good movie, it's an excellent movie. But there's a verse in the movie that says, people say when you don't have something, you miss it. I say that God gave me something I didn't know I needed. And sometimes that's the beauty for the ashes. God can take the ashes of your life and turn it into the beautiful things you need for today. April, I hope that answered your question. I see you're on the phone. Anybody else?
Yes, doctor, I had a question. Okay, so how do you feel about, this is something I've been kind of dealing with, fasting versus taking prescription medicines. Like, I like fasting because I believe that's the best way to heal your body, because once you starve your body just automatically goes into reset mode. But I take medications, and medications require me to eat, which keeps me from fasting. But sometimes I just fast and don't take the medications so that I can have the sake of fasting. But then sometimes I take the medication and can't fast because the sake of the medication. And it's just like medications, I know they're made in labs and stuff like that. I'd rather have holistic stuff, but I know some prescriptions you take because God makes physicians, but I also believe that, there's stuff on the earth that can heal you just as easily as the stuff that's in the lab that we make that has all the cons. Like some pills I take have more cons than they have pros. And then it's like I fast and then I feel great. And then I'll take this medication again and I have to deal with the cons. And I don't really get the benefits of the pros because the pros, if that makes sense, I know you hear this probably a lot as a doctor, but like I just wanted to ask that about like fasting specifically, and how do you juggle fasting and prescriptions or taking any type of drug, like if you're a diabetic, insulin, or if you take pills for whatever.
Well, and again, here we go. You've got to find a doctor who understands what you are doing. Believe it or not, I'm old enough that I remember the days when people told you fasting was horrible, don't do it. Now in 2025, everybody has understood that intermittent fasting is very healthy for you. But now we're the mentality that if somebody asks me to skip a meal, they act like you've asked them to commit murder. Intermittent fasting is very good for your body. It's actually great for your body. But you have to understand what intermittent fasting is and how you change your medication with your fasting. It's extremely important that water still be part of your fast. If somebody tells you you need to do intermittent fast, if you're fasting, water still has to be part of that. And I think about it as water is life. In the Bible and the references in the scriptures, water is always life-giving, life-preserving. It is something that must be done. So if you're fasting, you should be drinking water. That's extremely important. Don't negate water and your ability not to take in food. Now, if you have a health problem, I tell people if you have a health problem, you need to talk to your doctor about the fact that you want to fast, Brian, and let him help you regulate your medicine based on your fasting. Now, one of the things, they did a big study, a multi-center study about 5 years ago, in which they looked at intermittent fasting and its benefits. And they stopped the study early because so many people improved with the fasting. Did you hear that question? They found out that people improved their diabetes, their blood pressure, their metabolism, their energy level improved with fasting. But it has to be done under the supervision. Did you hear what I said? Supervision. That means that you have to know what you're doing, time what you're doing appropriately, and do it unto God. Because God is not going to allow you to do something against this body he created that he hasn't already ordained. Jesus fasted. The people in the Bible fasted during periods and times. So it is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But learning how to fast appropriately if you have medical problems is extremely important. I teach a class called Your Health Matters on Wednesdays. And in that class, we talk about intermittent fasting and how to adjust it based on your ability to be a diabetic, whether you have high blood pressure, and other things. Dr. Jerome will tell you, and so will Kim and all the other people that know me, I really do believe that every medicine you have, if we adjust the way you're eating, drinking, and exercising, we can work it to the point that you don't need the medicine. But you don't stop the medicine to do your fast. You work on the problem until you can get rid of the medicine. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a lot of people that are vitamin D deficient, and they do intermittent fasting, and they stop their vitamin D for a month. Who would do that? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. So you have to know what you're doing, how you're doing, and make it right. We are sick because we will not take care of these bodies that God designed.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. I definitely get what you're saying. And I do want to, just once again, I do need to try to involve my doctors, but unfortunately, I don't have the greatest not like a bad thing. It's just the doctors don't follow up with me. Like once upon a time, I used to have doctors that called me and checked on me and would, make sure. But now I got doctors that just look at me like another person, and they really kind of in and out the doc. They don't recommend anything. They don't tell me anything. And it's like, I remember somebody was saying, make sure you get doctors that care. And I realized like I put myself in a situation. I got a bunch of doctors that don't even know me. Like if they saw me, they wouldn't even know my name. Like they don't even.
Okay, Brian, let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am. If
you took your fancy Lamborghini into the car repair shop, you wouldn't take it to a Ford dealer.
Right.
You're going to take it to a Lamborghini dealer who knows what the car does, who knows the mechanisms of how the car works. Being a paraplegic is extremely important that you have a health team. That means a doctor who sees you, a physical therapist who comes and keeps up with you, and a nurse who deals with your medical issues. If you're not seeing that, I don't know what city you live in, but back channel me and I will find a way to help you find a team to work with you. It is critical. I spent 10 years of my life working in a nursing home, finding people who were there because of their disability.
But I'm just saying that they don't care about the patient like I would like I know doctors are taught not to, some do, but I heard doctors are taught not to have a relationship with their patients or not care because you don't want to get attached because, but that's the way they treat people. I don't believe in that either. But like all of my doctors that I have, except for my primary care physician, me and her, she knows me by my name. She checks on me if a prescription. But like, I want all my doctors to treat me like that. And it's like urologists are completely different than neurologists and neurologists.
Do you pray for them, Brian?
I do. I be praying all the time. And that's why I think we have this conversation today, because it's like God's been telling me I need to look for a new neurologist, because the only time he talks to me is when he wants to do surgery on me for $60,000. Like he wants to put Botox in me, and I'm like, I'm fighting bone marrow. And I had a bone infection. Why are you talking about doing Botox? He's like, but don't you want help with your tone? I'm like, but you're not thinking about what's currently going on in my life. Like you're trying to get to the paycheck. So it's just like, that's the quagmire. That's the quandary I'm dealing with. Is like, I live in Virginia. We have MCV, so that's a medical college in Virginia. You go there, you end up getting a lot of residents and stuff like that. And then you ask for the main doctor. The main doctor is like a dude that wrote a book. So he's like, oh, I don't really have time to. And it's like, I just want a good old fashioned doctor that just says, hey, Brian, just. And it's just like, that's what I'm working on. So I've been praying for that, but I'm glad you said something.
And ask God to give you wisdom. I would not take my Lamborghini into a Ford dealer. And I don't care if he wrote a book. I don't care if he fished for an elephant. I would not let anybody care for me who does not understand who I am and what I'm going through. I practiced medicine 44 years, Brian. This is not the first time I've heard this.
Yes, ma'am.
I know what kind of doctor I was. And I can tell you this, I was a part of a university system, and they told me that I was taking too much time with my patients, and they were upset because my cancer patients who no longer came to me, I went to their homes. And I saw my patients from birth to death, because that's what God said my standard was. Now, how about you set your standards for the doctors who care for you?
I want a doctor like you, doctor. I'm going to try to find me one that wants to have. I'm praying for that. Amen.
All right.
Dr. B, Miss Mack has been on the stage for a while. I'm sorry, Dad. And I think Miss Mack had a question.
Okay, Miss Mack.
It's okay. You probably need to move on. But yeah, Miss Mack was on the stage for a while. I just wanted to acknowledge Miss Mack and give her the opportunity to speak. Oh, there she is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say good morning. I was just trying to filter in what's going on around me and listen to you all at the same time. And you were speaking about kidney failure. I had a parent that passed away with different illnesses with a kidney for 5 years, and I just sitting here gleaming off of the information that I'm writing down mentally. I'm not an average water drinker unless I have a flavor in the water. I'm just saying. But I'm
okay. Miss Mack, can you come back up to the stage? I believe Dr. Jerome want to go ahead and say something and probably dismiss our YouTube family. We weren't taking questions at the moment. And if you could come back up and say, or just mute your mic, and then we'll let you speak in a little bit. Is that okay? Okay, I think that means okay. So, Dr. Jerome, you can go ahead and speak, sir, or direct Dr. Vera in the way that you will. And Miss Mack, you'll be able to open your mic in a little bit to give your add to the conversation.
Now, see, the way that you're handling this, Lasagna, you're going to have to start wearing black and white to church on Sunday morning. I like the way you ushering this. We're going to put you on the floor. Yeah, I was just actually sending a message to the YouTube family to just asking if they're enjoying this and they're enjoying listening, but I want to invite them to come on over to Clubhouse. So you're invited to come to Clubhouse. We're going to end the feed, the live stream For those of you who got to go, you're already moving around, and some are coming in now. I speak blessings to you. Know that there's more for you, and that it's God's plan for you to walk in divine health. It's His will. And we're hearing some things, we're hearing some concepts, we're getting some wisdom on what we need to do, not to asking for a miracle to be healed, but to walk in what and sustain what He's given us, this gift of health. As Dr. Vera said, you don't really miss it until it's gone. There are ways that you can get that water. Drinking water is the best way to get it in your body. But we're adding to that when we eat sweet potatoes and other fruits or vegetables that really contain a lot of water. Watermelon, it's in the name. So we need to stay hydrated, especially in this season. Well, that's it. Come on over to Clubhouse, join conversations with Dr. Jerome. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your questions. But if you have more to say or questions for Dr. Vera, come on over to Clubhouse and join, again, conversations with Dr. Jerome. I speak blessings to you, one and all. I see there's a message, good word. Your health and healthcare team is very important. Thank you, Chanel. Yeah, otherwise, we're going to see you in the morning, folks. Remember, we're fasting from processed sugar, refined sugar. We're praying. We're standing on the Word of God. 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 2 through 10, as well as 3 John, verse 2. 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 a.m. Mountain, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in that universal, not universal, but well, it's a time zone for especially Southeast Africa. And we welcome you here. And at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening in Pakistan will be 6 a.m. tomorrow morning right here. We'll see you all back here. Conversations with Dr. Jerome, this morning word. Blessings to you, YouTube. And I'm pressing the ending the live stream, and I'm pausing my mic. So Dr. Vera or Miss Mac, you've got it.
I believe Miss Mack probably had to step away. Maybe she'll come back later. But I did